Yeah, no, it's like, everything.
All right. We have 6:09 on the time. I'd like to say hello and welcome everyone to the March 16th, 2026 Cumberland County Commissioners meeting. This evening, I'd like to call to order. Catherine, if you don't mind, would you mind?
Chair Smith.
Here.
Vice Chair Tadler.
Here.
Commissioner Katerina.
Here.
Commissioner Gordon.
Here.
Commissioner Flutie.
Present.
Excellent. We have a quorum and everyone is in attendance. Appreciate that. Next, we'd like to ask those who would like to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. On our agenda this evening, we have the approval of the minutes. That's CD 26-007. Approval of the minutes, February 17th, 2026, meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Cloutier and a second by Commissioner Tyler. Also heard chime in there. But we have the meetings. I only have one correction before we take a vote from the approval of the comments from the public. On our review of these minutes, on the second page, it has at 8:53, Chair Smith closed the public comment. I think the word just needs to say opened the public comment at 5:36, and it was closed at 6:35. So just one small word of a change that I found. Otherwise, it looks complete. Yes. So another one, okay.
Yeah. We have a statement in here on the second page of the minutes. It says, if the contract was ended, ICE inmates would lose access to Portland services. I don't believe that's correct.
Yeah, I don't, does anyone else have a recollection of that comment?
I almost remember that. I thought that was odd. Yeah,
Would you like to strike that?
please.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, could the clerk please, or administrative assistant, strike that sentence? Is there anything else?
No.
Okay, so with that strike of those, of that wording, is everyone okay with the approval of the minutes with that strikeout? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
They'll show that unanimous. So we'll make those changes, the one word open to closed, and then striking the language that Commissioner Gordon brought to our attention. Thank you. Next we have in our agenda is, and that was a unanimous, right? I want to make sure I capture that. Thank you. Next we have informational reports and presentations. The first, I believe, is just informational reports for us. That's CD 26-008. Information reports for Cumberland County Regional Communications Center, their fourth quarter newsletter for 2025. Does anyone like to make a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. It's a motion by Commissioner Cloutier and a second by Commissioner Gordon. Any thoughts and comments on that? Great. All right. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That is unanimous for that informational report. Next in the same section, it's CD 26-009. This is informational presentation for the fiscal year 25 audited financials as presented by R.H.R. Smith and Company. County Manager, would you maybe want to?
Sure.
Thank you.
Won't go too far, but I'd like to introduce Ron Smith from RHR. He's the managing principal at RHR, and it's been a year or two before we've had RHR come in and just kind of give an overview of the audited financials. These audited financials go back to June 30th, 2025, so FY25 financials. And it's taken us a couple of months to coordinate schedules, but we appreciate Ron coming in this evening and doing a quick overview of his firm's work. So Ron, it's all yours.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm Ron Smith, principal of the RHR Smith and Company. I work with over 80 other professionals. All we do in the state of Maine and Vermont is government. So I think we do all but 4 counties in the state of Maine. We do Maine's jail authority, so 2/3 of all the municipalities, 2/3 of all the school systems, so we know who you are and really kind of what the world of government looks like. So any questions you have, absolutely, I'm here to answer any questions, that would exist. And as Jim said, this is on the 6/30/25 audit. So I don't know who's driving this car, but if they could go to the next one. So here's really kind of, your responsibilities and really how it works. So we actually start this process like right now, for your next year's audit. And we start the process because audits have turned into planning. And literally almost 70% of the audits are planning and risk assessments. What could go wrong? Where could it go wrong? And really kind of looking at your fiscal year. So here's really kind of the chronology of the evolution of your audit. You give us information preliminary. We look at it, we evaluate it, we do our planning, and then we step away. And then sometime in September, October, we come and we do an audit for the County of Cumberland. So that really is the chronology of the information that you provide us. We cross-reference it to statutes, federal and state, your charter, and that really is 3 audits that we give you. We give you a financial statement audit, that the numbers that you give us are right and correct. We look at how they got on a piece of paper, because we shall and must understand how your numbers get on a piece of paper. So we go through the evolution of checklist and questionnaires that we provide you all, and you guys answer those questions back to us, your fiscal staff, that provides us the answers, and we go through and we verify, make sure what you said and gave us for answers is actually what you're doing. So that process starts like right now. And literally, we take 4 to 5 months and we do a bunch of planning, and then we schedule our on-site time. And the responsibilities is what you give us, we give it back to you. And the best way I can say it is what you give us for reports turns into a monstrous document that I can see right here in Teresa's lap that's about 135 pages long. So that's really the evolution of the audit. Reports that you give us that turns into, and a bunch of other information that turns into that booklet right there. So, next slide. And that booklet is prepared based on your information, and if we have disagreements, if we don't agree with the math or the documentation that you all provide us, we'll have conversations with your management so we can arrive at some comfort level of what the math should be. And I can pleased to say that we didn't have any of those conversations. So, next.
Good.
Three audits we do. We do a financial statement audit, which is literally the first 2/3 of that audit report. And that's with the math, the numbers, the general operations of the county and the various departments that you run here. Okay, the rest of it, would be a federal compliance audit. Because you spent more than $750,000 of the U.S. federal government's money, we do a federal compliance audit. That threshold will go up next year to $1 million. That won't change who you are. And sadly, before COVID, you used to be your DECD grant that you got directly from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. COVID changed all that into the original COVID relief funds, ARPA. We've audited all those funds that have run through the County of Cumberland. I believe normality will probably start getting back to your DECD grant, auditing that going forward, and some other unique grants that you'll have going forward, just to let you know that. The next audit that we do is a state audit, because you get money that runs from the State Department of Health and Human Services, for some of your social service grants that you have with them. We have to do an audit in accordance with the state of Maine and some of their standards on, I believe, 2 or 3 specific grants, that put you over their state threshold. So we're doing 3 audits: financial statements, federal audit, and state audit. And we're pleased to tell you, you've got our highest report. It's an unmodified report. If we had areas of fraud, collusion, defalcation, any disagreements with management, we'd have to mention in that report. And as I said before, the basis of our opinion is the highest opinion that we can give you, and that's unmodified. So, next slide. And really, here's kind of like who you are. Really just, we try to pick out some balance sheet items, that, literally, so you can kind of see the progression that you've made from year to year. And if you can see based on those color pie charts, green representing the most current fiscal year, you're almost a model child, and from a consistency from year to year. And that's really what those graphs tell you. Things have grown because things have come, things have gone, largely in part to the federal money and state money that you come in, that there's timing differences on how that money comes into when you spend. I'm really seeing nothing up there that would say, hey, we really need to talk about this. No, you are a financial, healthy county government. Contrary to what you may hear about some of your other counterparts in the state of Maine, the county of Cumberland is not in that position. I want to make that crystal clear. And as I said, kind of transitioning, this audit really was a product of Alex Kimball, now Teresa Grover, really the fact that we're still sitting here, before the deadline, as Jim said, and having this conversation is really kind of the testimony, the good testimony for how your outgoing finance person, longstanding finance person, assistant manager, went out the door and transitioned it to a new one. I think that that's great, plug and play, and really, now as Teresa really tries to make this, her understanding and pick the torch up where Alex left off financially, your torch is well, so well lit. Next page. And I do not have my glasses on, but you're going to see revenue projections, I believe, here, a 3-year comparison. And there's really nothing, here that really kind of jumps out at me. I can tell you those miscellaneous revenues are probably various charges for services, within some of your departments, but clearly nothing, that jumps out at me, even with kind of the bridge, the property tax, kind of when the jail, birthed itself into its own fund, which is why I think you're seeing, that spike there in that property tax revenue. Your property tax revenue is broken down into 2 pieces, jail and non-jail is the best way I can say it. So, next page. And really, there it is, for the county government, there, and I believe right there that taxes you municipalities, correct me if I'm wrong, Teresa, that's the tax piece for the operational non-jail piece, correct? So we try to focus on that. So anyway, but there are 2 pieces. That booklet has two columns separated because the statutes are very clear. Jail shall remain jail, until otherwise, compliant with the statute, moving money back and forth. So we actually separate your jail from your county, all your other county operations. So, but you're seeing the actual estimates, coming in, where you're, where you had anticipated them being to where they actually are. So in a $31 million operating budget, which doesn't include your jail, your revenues came in more than your expectations of about $1.2 million. You'll see there where. So favorable as opposed to unfavorable, which is where you want. So. And a lot of that's too, you're open for business, really is the best way I can say it. People are getting out now, registry of deeds, the busyness in county of Cumberland, really the biggest county. So anyway, so that's kind of a reflection on that. So, next page. And here is a 3-year comparison of your expenditures. You'll clearly see kind of the, nothing that I would say, hey, look at me. You're going to see the spike in the biggest one, which is your biggest department here, with your sheriff services. Nothing really that wasn't planned, really in there and well within the statutory budget compliance within what you expected and what they spent. And you'll see that, I believe, on the next page if you want to flip to the next page. And there it is. So within your statutory requirement with your total expenditures, expected 31.7. Spent 31.6. That is not a lot of room for error, and you were on the right side, with spending there in totality. So, next page. And really, this is just kind of the schedule that you put because of the closeness of the relationship and the statutory responsibility that you have over the cross insurance arena. we put this as a schedule in there to show you another important piece of the county of Cumberland's business, so. Next. And here's really, just again, just charges for non-property tax revenues and the civic center revenue. You can just see kind of a comparison in the last 3 years. That's predominantly the cross-insurance arena and the revenues that it's taken in a comparison over the last 3 years. So there was a little decline from 24 into 25. Next. And again, expenses for the cross-insurance arena. So nothing really that I would say, really there. Events increased, event expenses, cause and effect. Events increase, event expenses go. But nothing really that's there. I'd say you really need to look at this. Nothing there. Couple of comments, really with best practice matters, how I said in the beginning that the numbers got on a piece of paper. Just a couple of comments made just about the operations of the jail, just on, hey, if we were you, just to give you some of the best practices of the world with the business that you operate, here's a couple of them. So no findings is suggested in our federal compliance or state audit, clean, no findings. Well done to your staff, and I think that this was a good transition, being able to move your person. That's what you want. Person moves up. Classic case in point of exactly how that transition worked for the county of Cumberland, which is a reflection on this. So, and that is what I have for presentation to summarize 6/30/25.
Excellent, thank you so much. Questions, and we'll make sure we'll open up to the public comment as well, but yes, questions from the commissioners.
Ron, just a little bit off the topic, but you talked about the jail audit, and there was quite a controversy between the counties about why the state wanted a specific audit of jails and just couldn't take the information from the overall. Do you have any idea what specific data they're trying to focus on?
So I'm not sure, Steve, it was the data, it was the presentation of the data. And what happens is, out of all the counties, what was happening is one county would prepare, we would prepare all ours the same way. Okay, but if you take 4 other counties and prepare ours, because we knew we had conversations going back to the Alex Kimball era and some of the conversations, and really when the statute started changing with jail and came up with jail tax cap, things like that, the counties still blended that information in with them. So they couldn't easily, extract that information from their financial statements. So I think that there was a lot of controversy, a lot of conversations. I participated in the Maine Commissioners Association. I worked closely with the Department of Correction, Mitch Boynton, and what they said is, we want to be able, if we're going to fund this money and we're going to have a tax cap, for their correctional system jails at each county level, we want to be able to pull that information so we can take that data and compare other counties to other counties. We want to be able to compare populations, federal inmates, things like that. So they came up in the conversation. It's actually been going on for a few years now, but I think that they landed starting this year, ended 6/30/26, because they're on a fiscal year too, 6/30. They said that for every county that operates the jail, which is all of them, except Saginaw, Hawk, and Lincoln that operate the jail authority that we do as well, they want to be able to take that information and extrapolate that. So they said for every county where it's blended in with the county, they want a separate product, for the jail that's just jail, that will take into consideration all the different business aspects of jail. Your inmate benefit account being one of them. Any other trust funds, any jail programs, that you run, for the inmates in there. So that's all, pulled out, and that was a statute that they passed this past year to do that. And I know you were at that meeting, and we certainly talked to that. And I also know that as a piece of their corrections budget, that they are planning on funding this jail audit through corrections. So you'll get a piece of your audit reimbursed for corrections. And, Jim and I and Teresa were talking this afternoon. I think it's kind of an amount to be determined, but I know that was the plan, is they knew that there was going to be this cost to kind of uniform everything together. So expect to see a reimbursement from the Department of Corrections, from what I understand as soon as last week, for the jail audit that they want to uniform, so, for all the counties.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
And that reimbursement would come when?
So that's a good question. So I don't want to speak for the Department of Corrections, but here's what I understand. It's supposed to come for your 6/30/26 audit when we pull that product out of there and issue it. So after
Do a
July
place-
1st.
We'll do a placeholder,
Yeah,
great,
after July 1st.
perfect.
And I am 100% confident. Mitch Boynton's a good man, you know, and he's been nothing, you know, but I think Tim Curtis is your representative on that. They've been nothing but gracious, and they also see, you know, with, and we won't mention any names, some counties having some issues with corrections not named Cumberland, to try to stay out in front of some of these, you know, not just operational deficits, but some of the jail deficits that they're seeing out there. How's the county gonna this county gonna climb out of this hole? So to be able to have this information uniquely identified just will help them work with the counties, you know, more so individually, because they were struggling really to pull this information out, so.
Very good. Good question. Thank you, Steve. Anyone else, any questions or comments? I just have one question, and we'll open up to the public comments. But first of all, thank you for the thorough explanation around our audit. We're named Smith, but I don't know you, just so you're not part of my family tree.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I know a lot of Smiths out there. But when you have folks on site here, I'm just curious as to your experience. Are you here multiple days? I hear, you know, just 12 hours. What does it look like in terms of our staff and what they need to do?
We're here multiple days, okay? Here's what I am sure of. We used to be here more multiple days, but the emphasis on auditing now has been put into planning and risk assessments. So Teresa and her staff, listen, they're very good at uploading us information, so that will minimize the impact of how much time we're here. But we're here doing 3 audits, and literally, I think that really what it doesn't do justice is the amount of teammates from our HR that we assign to the county of Cumberland, or any audit forever now going forward. I just said you got 3 audits. What's that tell me? I got 3 different managers, you know, from our company, making sure what piece we talking about, because that's a different person, that's a different person, and that's a different person. So all depends on who we're talking about, what piece of the audit, but usually a lot of that information is provided long in advance that you guys are very good about doing for us. And I can tell you, others aren't, and I'll just leave it at that.
Well, thank you for that good glowing feeling that you've left us with. Thank you very much for your services. Is there anyone from the public, thank you, is there anyone from the public who'd like to speak to this matter? Please approach the podium. Great, seeing none, the public comment is closed for this item. What is the wish of the county?
Move we accept that.
Okay, move for acceptance. And a second, so we have a motion to accept from Commissioner Gordon, a second by Commissioner Cloutier. All those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous.
It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
That's a feel good. All right, next we have comments from the public. This is a part of our agenda that we set aside 1 hour to hear from the public. And so we ask you to come up to the podium, state your name and where you reside, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak. And then I'll get a little signal from someone that your time is up, and then we'll pass it on to the next person. So I have 6:32. We're opening up public comment, and whoever would like to come to the podium, please do so. Thank you.
Hello, Shelby Layton from South Portland. Good to see you all, as always. I just, I'm here to ask you to end the contract with ICE as usual. I think there's fewer of us here tonight, but not because there are not the hundreds and thousands of your constituents who care about this issue and who we're here to represent and let you know that we're here and we're still keeping an eye on this question, and interested to hear what you all are thinking in terms of next steps, especially after the executive session today. And I also, I was really concerned by the news about cooperation between the Portland Police and the South Portland Police and ICE, and I was wondering if you all are doing any oversight over what the sheriff's office is doing, and if there's been similar investigation into the sheriff's office cooperation with ICE, and I'm also wondering if the sheriff has come out. I have not seen anything, but I would like to know if the sheriff has committed to beginning to follow the new bill, LD 1971, that's going to go into effect later this year, as multiple police departments have now done, the state police has done. They've all committed to following it now rather than waiting until July or whatever when it goes into effect, and I haven't heard the sheriff make any comments about that, and so I'm also curious whether you all have talked to the sheriff about that or plan to make any statements to that effect. So those are my questions. As always, please enter the contract. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jack O'Brien. I'm a resident in Brunswick, and I'm here to ask you to cancel the contract. I'm here to actually tell you that, like, as you might notice, today's a particularly good day to cancel the contract, right? There are no detainees in the jail, you're not getting any funds, and we know to a certainty that we will be electing some folks who will cancel the contract in November. So what a wonderful opportunity to look like you're gonna do something and cancel the contract today.
My name is Reverend Allison Smith, and I live in Harpswell. And I'm here because I believe that Cumberland County, which is my county, is doing something that is morally wrong. For 10 months, people have come here of all ages, of all races, of all economic backgrounds, to share their heartache, to share their suffering, to share their anger that we are cooperating with ICE. It has seemed to fall on deaf ears for 3 of you who have not acted. And I also am concerned about our county manager and his role in advising you about this. Because the truth came out that we didn't have, at least on the women's side, any people from Maine being housed in the jail. So what was that? That means that we are cooperating with pulling people from New England and detaining them, causing suffering to their families. Then the truth came out that ICE, when we saw it with our own eyes, ICE was terrorizing our communities, our people. And so I thought, oh, maybe then you will do what is right. But no, then it was the worry about the money. And then the truth came out that really this is about the money. You've said it's not about the money, it's about the money. You have been making money on these people's lives. It is time to do what is right. You balance the county budget based on people's lives. Dietrich Bonhoeffer said, there's a time to drive a spoke into the wheel of injustice. It's time. And I just want to close by saying, yes, maybe it's spring, people are happy except for the rain, but in my world, I getting a call from a pastor of an Angolan church saying to me his assistant pastor is detained in Arizona, and he's telling me that his wife is crying every day. His wife is crying every day, and he's not alone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Olivia Pennington. I live in Portland. I've been here before. I am a doula. I primarily work with women living at the Francis Ward House, immigrant and refugee and asylum-seeking women and their children, supporting them through childbirth, postpartum, and the prenatal period. I want to start by saying thank you to the women of the Board of Commissioners who have already voted to end this contract and recognize the stance that that takes. And I'm here to tell you a little bit about my job. In my job, I get the honor of welcoming babies into the world, of holding their mom's hands when they take their first breath, of praying with them while their babies are born, of dancing with them while they're in labor. I have the honor of holding new people who have just arrived on this earth as they take their first ever nap. And I want you to imagine a little bit what it's like doing that job, watching a baby come into the world, and knowing already that there are people hunting her, that there are people hunting her mother. I have clients who have literally walked across continents to give birth to their babies, somewhere where they were free from genocide, free from war, free from enslavement. And I want you to imagine what it's like to walk all that way, to survive getting bitten by a snake in the Amazon, to survive your husband being shot in front of you and you have to keep walking, to arrive here where there are people threatening to take you away from your children. I want you to imagine driving a new mother to a lactation appointment with her 2-week-old baby and her 5-year-old son in the backseat of your car. And as you're driving home, she says, "I think that car's been following us. Can you go the long way? I think ICE is following us." I want you to imagine being a 5-year-old boy who misses 2 weeks of preschool, where he sees all of his friends, where he practices English, because you know that there are people trying to take your mother away from you. And I want you to imagine a woman who you have known for 2 months asking if you will take her children if they take her. And I want you to hold the severity of that every single time you look at that contract. There may be nobody locked up in CCJ for ICE now, but we have housed people in there, in a jail full of posters encouraging people to self-deport. It is wrong, and you have the power to stop it. Thank you.
How's it going, Commissioners? My name is Tofi, and I am a resident of Portland. I stand here to also urge you to end the contract. I come today with a very, very heavy heart, very tired, very sad over the continued occupation that we've been forced to deal with over the past month, and really, quite frankly, over the past years. This is my first time speaking as one of these. However, I've been attending these months, unfortunately, coming up on a year now. And all the while, we have heard from educators, from faith leaders, from concerned neighbors, all united in their opposition, right? Really bearing their hearts, their souls, and speaking their truth as to why this contract is so detrimental to our most vulnerable neighbors. And all the while, we have seen the arguments, the rationale for why this contract should be in place continue to shift, right? The goalposts have continued to shift. First, we said, I haven't seen any sort of collaboration or workings with ICE. We know that to be untrue. Then we've seen, what about the location? We want people to be closer to their families and their legal supports. Well, yes, but then, as you all showed us with the numbers last year, over 50% of the people at the jail were from out of state. So we were the ones who were actually keeping people from across the country, housed here in Portland, away from their own supports and their own networks. Proving that we're just one of many nodes in a nationwide network of deportation. And then we heard our hands are tied. We want to end the contract, but there's the state law in the Department of Corrections reading of it that says even if you wanted to end the contract, we would have to accept federal detainees. And then we said, okay, so we'll work with our legislators, Rachel Talbot Ross, to rectify this. So we have control over who we can and cannot accept in our county jails. So you can maybe see why, after being here for months on end, we're providing the solutions, you're coming with questions, all the while we've been stonewalled. And that is so, so trying, especially with the increased immigration enforcement of January, where I've had to drive around as a person of color in fear of unmarked vehicles just driving to and from work. I've had coworkers who've been threatened by mace, by immigration enforcement. So it's been very, very heavy to see when we have this power in front of us that we have been stonewalled. And it's important to note that we have to make our judgments and pass policy, make these decisions based on the world and the neighborhood and the state and the county that we want to live in, and not the other way around, and let folks dictate that for us. So let's use our power here today and end the contract. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And is there anyone else who'd like to speak during public comment? Okay, seeing no one else come to the podium, we will close our public comment period. Time is 6:45. And I want to thank everyone who came this evening and those who spoke and those who didn't speak. I appreciate you being here at our meeting this evening. Thank you. Next on our agenda, we have a consent agenda, and that consent agenda has 4 items on that agenda. I'll read those and then look for a motion if I could. The first item is 26-018. That's the acceptance of $2,631 from the Maine Drug Enforcement Agency as an asset forfeiture pertaining to a 2023 traffic stop in the town of Brunswick. The other item is 26-019. That's authorization for the county manager to award the design services for the fire alarm replacement at the courthouse at Jensen Hughes in the amount of $91,500. The third item is 26-020. Authorization of the Cumberland County manager to execute documents in conjunction with the renewal of the City of Portland and Cumberland County HOME Home Consortium. And the third is 26-021. Oh, I'm sorry. Fourth, yep. The authorization of the county manager to submit a proposal to the State of Maine Department of Public Safety in response to the fiscal year 26 Substance Abuse Disorder Assistance Program request for applications. And the last one, 26-022. That is the authorization for the county manager to enter into a contract between Cumberland County and Cumberland County Friends of Restorative Justice for restorative justice services for an annual renewable contract up to 3 years. Do I have anyone who would like to make a motion for this consent agenda?
Move passage.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Cloutier, a second by Commissioner Caterina. Do we have anyone from the public who'd like to speak to any of these items on the consent agenda? Sorry, thank you for that help on that. No public comment. Thank you. All those in favor? Okay. Aye, that is unanimous. All are in favor. Now we have new business. Well, we will have public comment. 26-0-23. We have the approval of the Community Development 2026 Annual Action Plan, including the allocation of the CBDG and HOME partnership funds and contingency plans. It indicates there are 2 public hearings required for this item. I'm going to pass this over to the county manager.
Thank you. Every year for the last at least 20 years now, we have gone through a first and second reading for the CDBG program. It's in anticipation of their submission to the Department of HUD for the coming year projects. And before I go too far and take a lot of the wind out of Courtney's presentation, I would like to invite up the CDBG manager, Courtney Kemp, to present this item to the commissioners.
Thank you.
Hello, thanks, Jim. So we started the process for reviewing the CDBG applications back in November was when we released the application. The Municipal Oversight Committee, that's made up of one representative from each town or city throughout the county, meets to approve the applications, and within that committee, we have an application review team. We had 9 volunteers from the MOC this year that took the time to review, score, hold an open mic session to answer any other questions, and then give the recommendation to the Municipal Oversight Committee for the funding. The Municipal Oversight Committee met 2 weeks ago to review those recommendations made by the review team and did approve 5 infrastructure projects and 3 public service projects. So for the infrastructure, we have Westbrook, 2 Cumberland County, and 2 Gorham. One is a Riverwalk safety lighting. It's a high traffic area in Westbrook. They've come before us a couple other times, and this year, after improving their application and showing the need, they did end up being the highest scoring. Alpha One, we have funded them in the past with critical access ramps. Habitat for Humanity is the rehab of homes. And the Gorham Food Pantry needs to add an addition onto their food pantry so that they can have a walk-in fridge and freezer. Right now, they are just bursting at the seams and cannot hold the amount of food and volunteers needed to distribute the appropriate amount. And then the Little Falls Community Center does not have any ADA parking spaces right now, and the grade does not allow for that ADA access, so they need some upgrades in their parking lot and their lighting as well. For the public service Furniture Friends, 2 of the 3 recommendations were first-time applicants, which we're really glad to see. Furniture Friends, they serve a lot of Cumberland County. It's a furniture bank that they're trying to grow. It's a very large warehouse, and with some additional infrastructure within that warehouse spot, it will allow them to say yes to more. They work with a lot of different hotels and colleges that will drop off a lot of, whether it's beds, just side tables, things like that. And right now, they're not able to say yes to everything, so those companies are unwilling to parse out what they can accept. So this would allow for more space and then more volunteer. The Crosswalk Community Outreach is 100% volunteer run. They have a food basket program, a community closet, and they have someone there that has a resource navigation for 40 hours a week that is also volunteer. So this will help them stay in this new building that they're working to purchase and help with operating costs and leasing that. And then through these doors, we see each year, and we have a great relationship with them. This is to fund another, they're partially fund a position within these doors. So those are the CDBG recommendations for this year. We do have a home recommendation as well, which is for Hazard Towers. It's quite an old South Portland Housing Authority building, and they do need quite a bit of upgrades to the sprinkler system, generator, furnace, just bringing everything to newer to have it more sustainable and keep everybody housed. And the goal is to also use the community space room to build more units to offer housing for more people. So that is the school's recommendation.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you for that information. We appreciate it. I believe we need to have a motion on the floor and a second, so we have a motion.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion by Commissioner Katerina and a second by Commissioner Cloutier. Thank you again for your presentation. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak to this matter or anything that they've heard this evening? Okay, great. Thank you very much. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Courtney? Excellent. I don't have any questions, except I just want to say thank you for the oversight and working with all the variety of allied groups that, you know, some are new to the process, some are frequent flyers, so to speak, of the funds, and I really appreciate all the hard work you do, and just also the convening of people and understanding how to put together good packet of information so that it can be reviewed and scored properly. So thank you for all that hard work. I know it makes a big difference in the communities, obviously, by the list that you just gave us. We're hitting so many different communities in our county, and I really appreciate that it's really spread out. You can say something?
Well, I understand we still need 2 public hearings on this, so
Yes.
we'll,
Yeah.
anything we do on any pending motions would wait for April.
This is, I think your motion on the table can be just to remand this to the April meeting for second reading and final action.
So moved.
Okay, we'll take that remand. Okay, that's, thank you, Courtney. So that's a motion to remand this to the next April meeting, since it requires 2 meetings. That's by Commissioner Cloutier and a second by Commissioner Gordon. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you in April, or we'll finish it up in April. Thank you. Next, we have item 26-04. That's the authorization of the county manager to award a bid Cumberland County Jail roof replacement and enter into a contract between Cumberland County and Tecta America New England LLC for the roof replacement services in the amount of $2,164,100. County manager, if you would, please.
Thank you. It actually is nice to actually see this item hit the agenda because it's only been something that we've had probably in 3 or 4 different budgets, and we've always had a more immediate emergency that we've needed to shift the money over to. And so to get this to the award stage has been a work for probably about the last 6 years. But we're bringing forth a bid to do the jail roof, just over $2.1 million. We feel as though that was a great bid from what we thought we were getting into in terms of a cost associated with that improvement. Tecno America out of New England LLC, out of, I believe they are Massachusetts, is the low bidder with the addendums that we had asked for pricing on. And I'd like to invite Bill Trufant, Facilities Director, up to fill in any voids that I just did not mention and answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Good evening. How you folks doing? Jim pretty much hit it right on the head. It's been a long time coming for the jail roof. Normal roofs of that style, ballast roof, last about 30 years. We're probably at 34. And over the past few years, we've been plugging a lot of holes just to get by. And as Jim said, other emergencies arise that take priority. To kick this project off, we had 17 different vendors show up for our pre-bid meeting, which got us very excited that, you know, the work in this field is starting to slow down. So other companies are looking to step in and, you know, potentially sharpen their pencils and get real value for this type of project. We ended up having 4 vendors supply bids. The bids we broke down into 2 styles of roofs. One was to replace what was existing, which is a balanced roof. It's a rock covering. It's the weight of the rubber membrane is held down by the weight of the rocks. On the other hand, we did an alternate, which would have given us repairs to the skylights that are in the jail roof, which gives the natural lighting that meets certain ACA requirements for natural light for the pods, and also some masonry repairs on the hip roofs and the parapets on the roofing. So we had actually 4 bids that came in out of the 17 that attended. They ranged from 2.9 to 2.1. We looked at all bids, and we actually decided with the financial constraints to be able to do the alternate, which is the masonry repairs, the skylights, and go with the different route of a fully adhered roof, mechanically fastened, so that way we won't have to necessarily have the rock weight the rubber membrane down. So it's the new age style roofing material. It's something that will last way beyond my retirement age, and I think as long as we can get this project off the ground and get this project approved and move forward, it's something that we will not have to constantly push to a later date as other emergencies may arise.
Does anyone have any Yes, please.
Number 2 bid, how far above was it?
It was, so we broke it down. Base bid was what was there, the ballasted roof. It went from, let's see, it's $27,000 more if we do the fully adhered roof. That's the difference between number 1 and number 2.
Low bid is 2.1.
Yep. So the next
bid above it.
next bid above it was 2.. It's like 2301, 22199. So it's like 100. Is it 271? Yeah, 271. Yep. I mean, we had a Texas company show up, which I was shocked that we had nationwide interest in this. I mean, they were $600,000 more, but the fact that this project reached that
The reason
level.
I asked the question, I used to be involved in bidding contracts when I was working in the lumber business. And when you get somebody that's 20% low, there's always a question.
Oh, for
And
sure.
when you're only a few percentage points,
Oh, for
and you know
sure.
you got a good bid.
For sure, and we broke it down, it's 10 roofs that are together as one, and not knowing what those numbers were coming into due to the construction environment altogether, how it's been, we broke it down into 10 separate roofs, so that way, if we only had enough money to do 8 roofs, we were gonna do the vendor that was the lowest on the 8 worst roofs. The fact that we were able to keep it below the number that we felt was, hit the green light, we're doing them all.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yep, Commissioner Gordon?
And maybe, Jim, you're the person to ask this. What kind of a performance bond do we have in this?
15%. Because there's cost-saving measures in a negotiation that we can do with the vendors that will be able to reduce that number. But we have to look at the bids as a whole as they were brought in.
And Bill, I have
Answer
just
your question.
one question while I guess something's being looked up. You mentioned it's gonna be past your retirement. Of course, we all retire at different times, don't we? But is this roof, is it a 30-year roof, a 50-year roof? I mean, in terms of technology, how far it's come?
Right now, it's a 30-year roof.
Okay.
The fact that the ballast roof was installed in its original,
Right.
and it got 34 years-ish, you know what I mean? This type of roof, as long as it's kept,
Maintained.
oh, absolutely. It's 35, 40.
Okay.
But materials changes,
Sure.
industry changes. so,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you have some comment over there? Is there some question? No. Oh, okay. Just want to make sure I'm not losing anyone's train of thought. Okay, I think we're all set. Thank you so much, Bill.
problem.
Appreciate the information and good luck with that. We need to put the motion on the table. Could I have a motion for this?
So moved. Second.
It's a motion by Commissioner Caterina and then a second by Commissioner Tyler. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak to this matter? Okay, seeing none, public discussion is closed for this.
Passes?
Thank you. And, well, I think we already have a first and a second.
Yeah.
Yep, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous. Thank you very much. Next, we have item 26-025. It is the authorization of the CCEMA to use grant funds totaling $239,971,000.
What did you blow up?
Yeah, my tax guys struggled with me. .04, for the purchase of the multi-mission robotic system from Teledyne FLIR. County Manager, do you want to fill us in?
I'm going to invite Michael Durkin, EMA Director, up to present this item.
Excellent, thank you very much. I really blew your budget right there, Mike.
Oh, in a good way. He was happy to get that kind of money.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, they're never going to pass that. Well, thank you for having me. This is actually kind of a follow-up request because the commissioners already voted on this as a package of items when you accepted the grant, or because the award amount is over $75,000 per county policy, have you approve it again once we actually make the purchase. And what this item specifically is it's actually 2 separate robotic systems to be used by the sheriff's ESU, commonly known as the SWAT team. There's one that's probably about yay big on little treads that has a little grabber arm. And they can go in, obviously, where people cannot, at minimal risk of getting shot. Instead of putting a person in harm's way, we can send this little robot in and it can grab something or it can bring something. There's a speaker and the sheriff's office can talk to a person or listen to them. They can have kind of a conversation. So that's one of the items. That's called a pack bot. The other item you'll see in the quote is what's called a throw bot, and that's essentially probably about yay big, and that's designed to be thrown in a window where it rights itself and performs similar functions, but obviously it's much smaller. It's not able to actually grab anything. So that's able to determine what is in a room before they potentially put officers in that room to put anybody at risk. So there is one note I'll make as well. There's one nuance my writing didn't capture on the effective date there, where the award ends on 9/30 of 2027. That's the period of performance federally is 3 years. The state only actually gives us 2 of those years. So a better measure to impose a small bit of urgency would be our effective date would more be 9/30/2026, at which point the state comes back to me and asks, why haven't you bought your robot yet, essentially. Otherwise, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Yes.
So this is just equipment that is grounded? I mean, it only moves on the ground?
Yeah, no drones, nothing flies here.
Great. Any other questions while we have our director here? Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate the background on this. Could I have a motion on the floor, please?
So, second, whatever.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Cloutier and a second by Katerina. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak to this matter? And seeing none, public comment is closed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous. Passage, 26-125. Next up, we have item 26-026. It's the authorization to apply for congressionally directed spending for special operation vehicle storage in the Wyndham Fire Department and Sheriff's Office joint facility. Can I have a motion to put it on the floor? I have a motion by Commissioner Cloutier and a second by Commissioner Tyler. County Manager, if you would, please.
Thank you. This item is a request for authorization to submit, I believe it's the 16th or the 18th of this month, a congressional direct spending request through Senator Collins' office. The request is for a couple of garage bays attached to the new Wyndham Fire Station that's to be built starting within the next couple of months. These garage bays will be to store apparatus that the Sheriff's Office has being stored in many locations throughout the greater Portland area currently, and they would like to move these pieces of equipment up into the region that they serve more frequently. And through that, they would be looking to a $2 million congressional earmark to build these garage bays. Wyndham has been involved along the way, and this item has been reviewed by the Grants Committee and has been brought forth from the Grants Committee to this body. Do you have any presentation on this item?
Nothing formal, but I can speak about it.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you. As the county manager had mentioned, this is authorization request to ask for the congressional district spending. We have been working with the grants committee to put together a package. This is a topic that the sheriff has met with Senator Collins about personally in Washington. And we've got support where this is a collaborative between the county and the municipality. The new Wyndham Fire Station that's being built is a collaboration with the county and the town of Wyndham. And it's really an opportunity. We'll be moving some of our operations out into that location in Wyndham. And Wyndham is really the crossroads for the areas that we serve. Portland, as far as law enforcement purposes, is kind of out of the way for the areas that we are routinely working in and working with those communities. And this will give us an opportunity while this project is under development and before construction has even been built to be able to add essentially 2 additional fire bays to this building where we would be able to relocate our command post vehicle, our evidence crime scene vehicle, our armored vehicle, things like that that are currently being housed on borrowed space and borrowed locations throughout the county, either in the city of Westbrook, Wyndham Fire Department, Gray Fire Department, things like that. So we're just really hoping that this is an opportunity where we're at the ground floor to move forward and make this request. And really excited for this opportunity, just to have the opportunity that we have so far with this collaboration with the town of Wyndham. So I think this would be a great addition to that.
Excellent, great, thank you very much. Hang tight, you may have some questions. Thank you for speaking to that. Is there any other commissioners who would like to speak? Yes, Commissioner Gordon.
Deputy Chief, what's the larger pieces of equipment that are going to be stored there, and how often are they used?
They're used regularly. Our command post vehicle is the size of, I would say, a city bus, and our armored vehicle would be the size of a dump truck, a tri-axle dump truck. Our evidence crime scene vehicle is a repurposed ambulance, about that size box truck. It's not repurposed, it's about the size of an ambulance with a box in the back. And then we have some other ancillary equipment too, boats and things like that we would want to, for the dive team and things like that, to locate.
So in the first piece you mentioned?
The command post vehicle?
Yeah.
Yes.
You say that's used quite a bit.
Anytime we have an operation involving the ESU team or search and rescue, it basically brings those resources of cellular capability, radio, camera, we can operate out of that. It's also a piece of equipment that we loan throughout the county. Cumberland Police Department uses it for the Cumberland Fair. The Brunswick Police Department uses it for the air show at the former Naval Air Station. We use it at the Falmouth Country Club for the golf tournament that comes out every year. So it's basically a mobile police station.
Thank you.
Anyone else have a question? Great.
I'm very, very familiar with this project.
I guess I just have a comment. I think it sounds like it's fabulous that someone was thinking ahead and looking at an opportunity versus like, oh, we should have done that after they built it, that kind of thing, looking backwards. And so I appreciate people are looking ahead and also recognizing the efficiencies, it sounds like, that we will have based on the central location and how we serve our wide swath of community members within the county. It seems like that specific location is really a huge win for us in terms of logistics, efficiency, getting to and from all the different towns that we serve versus some of the sporadic places now where we have lots of different equipment kind of all over. So it sounds like a fantastic move for us, and I'm happy that congressional funds, it won't really affect our budget necessarily. That's always nice to hear. What would be any downside if there are any downsides? Just curious.
I'm not certain that there would be. Our plan at this point, we're still kind of exploring what our options would be, but I believe that we would be moving law enforcement services out to that facility. Right now, we have our vehicles stored in borrowed space, so kind of the goodwill of the municipalities throughout the county that are allowing us to store the vehicles there. Last year, we were in a situation where we thought we would lose some space for the command post vehicle because at Westbrook Public Works, they needed to repurpose some space, but we were able to survive that. But a piece of equipment like that is a large fire truck, essentially. And really, the only place you can store it is in a fire station. And we don't have the facilities or the location at the LEC here in Portland. And really, that location in Wyndham, just where it's crossroads of Route 35, Route 115, Route 302, it's kind of the heart of where we are. So downsides, I think it's hard to find any. Certainly, we want to take advantage of the opportunity through the congressional district spending if we can.
Sure.
It certainly would be cost prohibitive for us to do it without it. As a matter of fact, I don't think we would be attempting to do it without it. And just having the opportunity where we're at that ground zero to kind of think ahead, and Wyndham has been, I think, a gracious partner. I'm sure the county manager could probably go into more details with that level of cooperation and collaboration, but it is a unique model. I don't think that we've seen anything else in the state that we would be sharing a space like that.
Great, thank you, excellent. And I'm also, I just want to add one more point to that, if there was not really a downside, is, you know, one of my pet peeves when I was a counselor in South Portland was like, we buy these things, but are we gonna be able to take care of them? You know, are we gonna make sure we can maintain them and have the building? And so, you know, the lifespan of whatever we're getting, whatever equipment it might be, that we're gonna try to maximize and optimize as much as we can in terms of taking care of that equipment, no matter if it's expense. So it sounds like having its own garage and staying away from Maine winters is always a good thing too. So I'm in favor of this, thank you.
Thank you.
And you want to add
Yeah,
something?
just a
Yes.
quick comment. In this collaboration, the third floor of this building is going to be ours too.
Yeah, it's going to be, as I understand, to be unfinished, yes, but
So
yes.
you're gonna have sheriff's department people in and out of there all the time. They can check on the stuff, take a look, oh, it's got a flat tire, you know, those kinds of things. I think long-term, it's ideal.
And that building will be staffed with Wyndham personnel or our people in and out, certainly.
Can I extend, to build on that, and I caught something you said at the tail end there. You're thinking about changing the operations center to that area?
For law enforcement services, really the jail, its location makes perfect sense for the population hub of Cumberland County, where it's at. But we don't patrol really any areas in this area, other than the islands in Casco Bay. But the reality is to get to Standish, which is one of our closer client municipalities, is a good 30-minute drive, at least on a good day. And, you know, we kind of cover that hub around Sebago Lake. And really where this is located in Wyndham is more in that hub. So the headquarters would remain in Portland. Detectives would remain in Portland. Administrative operations, internal affairs, things like that would stay where they are. But as far as operations itself for patrol, it would move out there. And the reality is the law enforcement center is a pretty full building right now.
So that's where you do your fueling and every other thing?
No, vehicle maintenance is done at the LEC now, but fueling is done remotely anyway, through
X cards.
X cards and gas stations and things like that. But this would be a place where we'll have a training room. We'll have facilities for offices, interviews. So, you know, if we have a victim of a crime who's in Harrison, you know, the drive to Portland's a pretty significant drive. If it's in July, it's even more significant. And really, we'll have an opportunity to kind of be out in the area that we patrol. Granted, Wyndham does have a police department, but we work hand in hand with them. You know, they help us, we help them, and everything seems to branch out of Wyndham.
Yes, it's no secret the Centric's patrol is up in that area. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions? Great. Thank you for your time as well. Does anyone from the public like to speak to this matter? Seeing no public comment, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous. Thank you. Next we have item 26-027. This is the authorization to accept the Howard G. Buffett Foundation grant funding for a civilian criminal analyst position for 5 years. Can I have a motion on the floor?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Cloutier, a second by Commissioner Caterina. County Manager, if you would, please.
Thank you. This item is coming forward for authorization to accept the Howard Buffett Foundation grant. The grant has been submitted because the deadline to submit fell between two meetings, and I believe it was just last week.
The 9th?
We had to get this grant in, or the sheriff's office had to get it in. The grant is teaming up with Pearl Street for an anti-trafficking person to work as an analyst at the law enforcement center, and to look at Cumberland County and the region as a whole in terms of what kind of trafficking is being done, and whether there's any leads that can be provided to CID or deputies out in the field. This item was brought forward to the Grants Committee. The Grants Committee had a number of questions around it. And the Grants Committee was not able to come to a recommendation for the county commissioners. One of the large items that the Grants Committee had questions around was that this was a 5-year grant, upwards of $125,000 a year. And it's the desire expressed by the Sheriff's Office that this position would be a position that would morph into the general fund budget after the 5-year grant is finished. And with that, there was some back and forth, and it was ultimately decided that the Grants Committee would not act on this, that this would be a policy decision by the commissioners of the whole. So this evening, this item is brought forth for the commissioners' review and action. And Chief, are you taking the lead on this? Lieutenant?
I'll introduce the folks who will know more about it than I do.
Okay.
But Haley Verusso's here from Preble Street, and Lieutenant Estabrook here from the Sheriff's Office. Jim is our detective lieutenant, and this is a collaboration through Haley's group that met with us and through the Howard Buffett Foundation to fund a position to analyze human trafficking for all agencies throughout Cumberland County. So this would be a sheriff's office position, but this person would be working with Brunswick PD, Portland PD, South Portland PD, Scarborough PD, just as that center spoke in the wheel, so to speak, to kind of analyze data, prosecutions, victims, resources, things like that. But I'll introduce these two here who can really go into a lot of details about that.
We're talking about trafficking drugs and people?
We're talking about trafficking in people. Yes. Haley, come on.
Hi there, my name is Haley Verusso. I'm a clinical social worker and the director of an anti-trafficking program at Preble Street. We have been working with the Howard Buffett Foundation for 3.5 years to continue to build out means of response to human trafficking. And so when I'm talking about human trafficking, I'm describing both labor and sex trafficking. And what human trafficking is any compelled activity through force, fraud, or coercion where a human being is used for somebody else's economic gain. Our program over the last 13 years has recognized that a holistic public health approach is how we best support survivors of human trafficking and the ways in which we continue to reduce trauma and the experience of trauma for survivors who make the decision to move through the criminal legal system is to build out our capacity to understand human trafficking beyond the individual person. And so what we have learned over the last 3.5 years, in particular, partnering with the Howard Buffett Foundation, is that some of these national best practices look at, lack of better words, following the money. And so this position, I'm not an expert on law enforcement, what I can share is that this position will allow us to minimize how much a victim, a survivor of human trafficking, needs to participate in an investigation related to their own exploitation. And so our hope is that as we partner with the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office, as well as 5 other organizations throughout Maine, we're really able to continue to build out the response to survivors of human trafficking. I can answer more in-depth questions if that would be helpful.
Excellent, thank you. Stick around, you may have some questions. Thank you so much, yes. Is there anyone else to speak? That's for, yeah, okay, great. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I don't want to miss anyone over there. Could we have a motion on the floor for this?
So moved.
Thank you. I have a motion by Commissioner Caterina and a second by Commissioner Cloutier to put it on the floor. We've had a brief introduction. I think I usually let other folks chime in, but because I'm on the grant committee, I'll just maybe give you a little of the inside conversations or questions that came up with this grant and my personal, where I sit on the grant committee. I had concerns in that, first of all, the work is valuable, there's no doubt about it. There is human trafficking that's happening all around our country and our county. So it's important that we have groups like Preble Street and others who are working on this together. The fact that this came up through the Sheriff's Office, it's great to have this for the next 5 years, but the concern was after that 5th year, you move into year 6, you know, to have these resources there and then potentially fall off the cliff because financially we may not have the money. We'd have to be doing set-asides now to come up with that kind of a salary for someone to continue in year 6. And what I understand is it's $125 $175,000 about, but of course in 5 years, that might be $175,000, you know, how that goes. So I think the grant committee was a little concerned with the financial hold it would have on future commissions and where we are with our budget. And I think we all know this budget was challenging, that we weren't hiring any new positions per se. We were just holding our own, trying to get through the budget system. So I think I was coming from a very fiscally prudent spot and like not hiring new positions. This would be a brand new position. And to that, you know, we have lots of positions at the jail and the corrections officers, and I know we're still trying to find people. So we still have a lot of need in those hiring efforts versus bringing on a brand new position. So I think that's why the committee was feeling a little not as robust of an approval on this, that they just didn't feel like it was in their position to make that decision. So that's the comment I can give you from the grant committee and the conversations that were had. I'm happy to hear from others since it's kind of put back to the commission. Yes.
I have my comment would be, I don't think trying to project some adverse consequence or what might be perceived as an adverse consequence 5 years out from here really gives me much pause to worry. And I'm wondering, the Howard Buffett Foundation, are we talking about the legendary Buffett family, or is that somebody else?
That's right, Howard Buffett is Warren Buffett's son.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, no, I think this is fine.
Okay. Anyone else want to come in? Yeah.
Yeah, and I would echo what Jim has said. Back in ancient times, I worked with human trafficking, or with women, young women who have been trafficked. And I can't think of a better thing to invest in because it's happened, probably will always happen, but the more that we can do to prevent or deal with it, I think it's not an expense, it's an investment. So I will approve this.
Excellent. Anyone else? Yeah.
What it seems to me is that this is an opportunity for us not only to provide a service, but we are providing police service for some of our outlying communities that contract with us. This offers the opportunity to show them that we are really trying to take those services that it doesn't make sense for each one of them to have, and we provide it, which should entice others to do the same thing and maybe bring some of that work to us, so that the consolidation of those, and I realize that's not a good word but to many people, but the consolidation of that is going to take place, it's got to take place, because people just can't afford the way we're running. So I totally support it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, my comment would echo some of your thoughts a little bit. I have no problem supporting this based on the fact of the Buffett Foundation financing it for 5 years. But I don't think we should even look at any set-aside program 5 years out. Get to 5 years and they'll have to figure it out again, and maybe they can get another grant. But for the county to take on the expense of setting money aside now, I don't think it's the road we need to go down. But I will support this to get the foundation going.
Okay, great. Thank you for the clarity on that. Appreciate it. Is there anyone from the public that would, or any other questions here? We have our expert from Pebble Street. If there no other questions, any comments from the public around this item? Thank you. Okay, seeing none, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, I'm going to show that unanimous. Thank you very much and good luck. We have item 26-028. That's the approval of the 2026-2027 final general fund, jail, cross-insurance arena budgets. This is a big one. All right. I guess I'm going to kick this off to the county manager and he'll get some checkup.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Well, it's my pleasure to bring forward the final budget of FY '27. be perfectly honest, I didn't think we'd ever get to this point. It has been a long budget season, which started back in September, and working with departments on their budgets, bringing it to the commissioners for the first time in November, and then going through 4 different meetings with the Finance Committee from December through the end of, or the beginning of February. The Finance Committee brought forth a recommendation as their advisory on the budget to the commissioners that they recommend the FY27 budget as presented, but they made a request that the commissioners and staff look at additional unassigned fund balance to reduce the tax rate impact. That was a budget that they were looking at was, I believe, 13.77% at that time. Jumping in, these are some of the budget impacts that we have seen. You have heard numerous times the solving of 4 union contracts over the last year had significantly provided impacts on this budget. Those contracts not only brought in salaries, some significant, but some unions also had changes in their retirement, as is noted here from the jail, going to 2/3 retirement to main PERS. We also saw a 12% health insurance increase. We're a few months away from the main paid family medical leave. Our insurances for workers' comp and property and casualty have gone up. We are seeing significant increases in software licensing year over year, and then our fixed costs continue to rise. This budget addresses a few items, but it also doesn't address items. It addresses competitive wages and benefits for union and non-union employees, the use of technology for better efficiencies. It no longer has a reliance on federal inmate revenue to support the jail operations, and funding expenditures to appropriate levels based on history and projections. What it doesn't address is new initiatives in support of towns and the taxpayers of Cumberland County, capital expenditures to the level of need, future contributions to the jail unassigned fund balance, and additional staff in certain areas that we need. Getting through the budget overview, many of these I've just made mention. I will highlight that only a half a full-time position is in this budget for new. That is because the current year budget has the other half in it. We split that position over 2 budget years, and so this is the second half. We have just over $317,000 in non-debt capital. We have no general obligation bonding in this year's budget. And there is the insertion of $500,000 in unassigned fund balance that will be funneled through the tax stabilization reserve, which there's an item later on in this agenda to capitalize that reserve. Significant increases, the unions, the contracts associated with the 4 unions, that was upwards of $1.5 million in wages and benefits of new money. IT software, just under $230,000. Of that, $50,000 was attributed to Munis, our financial software, going to a cloud-based solution, which increased our contract price. Jail food saw an increase of $150,000. Jail medical, the standard 3% year over year was $134,000. Risk pool's up 10%, and then due to staffing levels at the jail, we have had a heavy reliance on outside law enforcement, particularly Portland South, Portland Scarborough, helping us out doing details at one of the 2 hospitals. And we needed to show the impact of that in the budget. There is the half-time position, like I previously talked about. Some of the revenue adjustments, we are going up $125,000 in parking garage revenue, Emergency management through our FEMA allocation is down $220,000. We removed $3.3 million out of the proposed budget for no federal borders. Just to put that into some context, this year's budget for the jail recognized $2.29 million. We were increasing that budget line to offset operational costs. Hence, it was reduced at 3.3 just over the last couple of weeks. Communication contracts up 48,000, district attorneys fees up 45,000. We've talked much about the deeds revenue schedule through state statute that kicked in January of this year, up 350,000. However, in the same statute, they reduced copy revenue, so we lost 100,000 in copy revenue. And then investment income. We talked a lot about that at our workshop. We originally had $50,000 in that line. Last Friday, we talked more about what we felt as though we were trending and what we saw in fees and projection on whether interest rates were going to be going down or cash flow going down. And we felt as though that 50,000 could be brought up to 300,000. And so we quickly amended the budget Friday afternoon and inserted that 300,000, and that will have a corresponding reduction in the tax rate in a couple of slides. Our total expenditures are up $8.1 million, or just over 11%. Our jail expenses and revenue, we're recognizing just over $460,000 in state funding. There's the reduction of $2.29 million in federal border funding. No county border revenue is being recognized. Other revenues are down. And then we've inserted a tax stabilization reserve out of the unassigned fund balance for the jail of $200,000. That, with jail expenses, equals needs from taxes of just over $4.3 million. But the one item here is to recognize that this budget is up 25.05%. The cross-insurance arena is down just under $440,000, or a negative 13.9%. We fund a number of outside agencies, some of them per state statute, much like the Extension Service and Soil and Water, as others like the United Way, Portland Public Library, and Tedford House are more regional entities that provide a service. And that's $273,000 in totality this year. Our debt capital, and I could probably take TAN off because we haven't been pulling TANs anymore because of our new fiscal year. That is down just over $85,000. And so here's the important slide of the night. Total needs from taxes. County budget is up just over $2.1 million. The jail is up over $4.5 million. As I just said, that the cross-insurance arena is down $440,000. And then we have inserted $500,000 of tax stabilization reserve, which is an increase of $300,000 over what the current year budget has in it, for a totality of $5.4 million dollar change, resulting in a total needs from taxes at 12.93%. Just for some comparison, before we put that additional investment income in on Friday afternoon, that percent was 13.53. So it did knock it down, and I had always wanted to get down in at least the 12s if we were going to go in this direction, and we achieved that with this budget. Lastly, just a historical perspective on our recent tax rates over the years. Typically, we hover in the 4 or 5% range. Last year, we were at 7.74%, largely because we brought back a couple of the correction officers that we unfunded 2 or 3 years ago. And this year, we're at 12.93. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. I'd like to point out the great work that Teresa, Alyssa, and Brianna did on this budget. It was definitely a team effort, and a lot was asked of Teresa and Alyssa, especially on Friday afternoon of last week. So I appreciate all their help getting this to where we need to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I know we have specific wording for the motion I have here in front of me. Jim, do I need to read the dollar amounts as well?
Yeah, it's probably down through the whole thing.
Okay,
Yep.
great. I guess we'll get the motion on the floor and then we'll go for comments, questions, and ask the public. So I have my cheat sheet here. Thank you for the cheat sheet. So for this item, we're looking for the motion to set the budget. The Cumberland County Commissioners move to set the budget for the budget year 2026-2026 as follows. County expenditure, $31,968,285. Jail expenditure, $25,737,660. Cross insurance arena, $2,714,557. The revenue shows parentheses, which is a negative $13,353,575. $12,353,575, and that's a negative again in the parentheses. Designated fund balance, again, that's a negative $300,000. We have tax jail stabilization account, and that is, again, a parentheses, a negative $200,000. Down for the tax assessment of $47,566,927. The enterprise fund is $16,605,624. Grants, it's $4,206,217. And the summary budget from all those summary sources of gross is $81,232,343. That is the motion. Thank you for seconding, Commissioner Cloutier. And are there any questions or comments around this budget? Yes, Commissioner Tyler.
The only question I have is, Mr. Manager, are we gonna get a new cheat sheet for the towns?
Yes. Yes, we will have
Because
that.
you know there's a couple of places I wanna make the phone call to say what the new number is.
Well, we increased the increased revenue 250,000. It won't be much, but it'll be.
If it's $5, I know somebody will be happy.
Fair enough, but we will.
Excellent. Is there any comment from the public regard to this motion? Okay, seeing none, I just have a few comments and a couple things to say. I don't think any county group has worked harder than this county group on this particular budget. Some challenging things happened this year in and outside of our control, and I just want to thank the finance department, the director, Brianna and Jim, for all their hard work and really working hard to put together the very best budget they could in the challenging times that we have. And I feel completely comfortable, and I was happy to hear from our auditing of the previous year that we run a very strong financial department here in the county, and something that we can trust in and count on. I'm also grateful for our tax stabilization account. Many towns don't know how to do that properly, and people see things spike up high and down. I really want to take my hat off to Jim and the entire department and the financial department to say that they're forward-thinking. And yes, obviously money doesn't grow on trees, but we do a nice job of preparing for the future, preparing for unknowns, so that we can manage difficult times like these to the best of our ability and try to pass on a responsible tax. With that said, I also want to have a couple other thanks, because we don't do this alone. A lot of folks think the county budget just does what they want and the commissioners kind of just do what they want. We have a finance committee that is very dedicated. So all those folks who are serving as town councilors or city councilors, they're actually nominated by this commission to help us as a financial committee. They have a term as we do. And that Finance Committee members, I want to recognize them tonight because they put in a lot of long, hard hours on top of what they do for their towns and cities. They decided to come here to the county to understand how our budget is put together and what impacts our budget. So I want to say thank you to Jonathan Anderson in the town of Scarborough who served this year, Connie Justice from New Gloucester, Bob Vale from the town of Cumberland, Karen Orestein from the town of Yarmouth, Timothy Thompson from the town of Cape Elizabeth, Ben Grant from the city of Portland, and Sarah sorry, Sarah, I'm gonna ruin this last name again. Mikanowski, did I say it right, Jim? No. Thank you. I knew someone would help me. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to all of those members of the Finance Committee. They put in a lot of hours, gave us some great feedback, and allowed us to get to where we are tonight. So I want to thank those committee members as well. Without any further ado, all of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I show unanimous support for the budget. Thank you very much. All right.
One more motion.
Yep. The last motion is to set the capital improvement plan. This is approving a 5-year capital improvement plan, including expenditures of $317,600 in non-debt CIP. The amount is $317,600, and that is all I have on my cheat sheet. Am I correct?
Yes.
Move passage.
Thank you. I have a motion to passage by Commissioner Cloutier and a second
Second.
by Commissioner Caterina. Any comments from the staff? Any comments from the public? Great, and seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous for the motion for the capital improvement plan. And that's the year 2020, I want to make sure that 2025, 2026, correct?
26,
I'm
27.
sorry, 26, 27. It doesn't say it on it specifically, but want to make sure we're in the right year. Okay, great, thank you. Okay. We're now moving on to the next item in our agenda, and that is item 26-029, and that is approving the 2026-2027 jail budget to exceed the 4% growth limitation factor.
Move passage.
I have a motion by Commissioner Cloutier and a second by
Jean Marie Caterina.
by Commissioner Caterina. Thank you. County Manager, please.
Thank you. As the commissioners are aware that their state statute requires counties to not raise more than 4% of new money per year in support of jail operations. This 4% kind of dates back to the Board of Corrections and still lives within state statute. There are some criteria that a county can meet to get past that 4%. Largely, it's an emergency provision within state statute that allows a county, not year over year, but in particular years of strain on the jail budget, to call an emergency provision of the state statute. And for that to happen, it needs to go to a vote of the elected body. And so this evening, I've spelled it all out in your position paper, talking about it, and you just need to make a motion and approve this to exceed the cap of 4%. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak to this matter? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Commissioners, any comments? Yes, please. Commissioner Caterina.
As you folks are aware, I'm one of the chairs of the Legislative Policy Committee, and we've been busting our posterior regarding trying to get money out of the state for jail funding. Not sure where it's gonna go. We don't have a clear path right now. I will say we've done a lot to awaken the awareness of a number of legislators. I would ask each of you to call your favorite legislators and say, what the heck? You know, you guys keep putting mandates on us, telling us, you know, we'll have to do this. We've got this archaic 4% growth limitation factor. give us some money. So that's just my ask for tonight.
Yes, Commissioner Cloutier?
The fact that this is a 4% ceiling, it tells you something about the thoughtful planning that occurs at the state level. And in addition, there are counties where the county commission does not have authority over its budget. The finance committee, which is an outside committee, has the authority to enact the budget. And in those counties where they have been operating a dungeon for at least 50 years that they call a jail, and have assiduously adhered to the 4% cap, you read in the latest newspapers that they find themselves functionally bankrupt and quite distressed. And they're making our 25% increase look like child's play. So, 25% is a lot of money. It has special reasons that we know about and considerations that we've taken into account that may or may not come to pass. But the fact is that this is a situation that I don't share any of Commissioner Caterina's good feeling about possibilities from state funding. My own impression over the last 40 years is that if you go to the appropriations table, you might as well start the funeral. So but it is what it is. It would be nice if people woke up, and I think watching all the counties that are in such dire straits as a result of this may well get the attention of people who normally would assume that counties should just keep going and do whatever they're doing and should be ignored otherwise. So maybe we'll do better later.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Gordon.
To go along with what Jim is indicating, if you look at the other counties, there are some of them, there are multiples of what we're going to. And with good reason for just the reasons that Commissioner Cloutier has mentioned. The other thing that's interesting is if you look at this 4% tax, one of the things that the state has put into their issue is that outside of the 4%, that we don't have to consider the increase, is the mandates that they don't cover.
Right. Yeah, okay.
With that, I pass.
Clearly, we're all doing the best we can with what we have. And I'll just say I appreciate all those who are still fighting the fight. And I think it is important to, again, be clear, be vocal, and, push for what we know is our experience and our lived-in reality here of what does it cost to run a jail. And I think, many more people understand that, and they also know what implications impact the jail. And so for that, I think we just need to keep on fighting the fight. And again, appreciate that, we're hopefully on okay ground here in the county. So without any further ado, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Show that unanimous. Thank you. Next, we have item 26-30. This is the authorization or authorize the issuance of the 2026-2027 cost of living adjustment of 3% to all county non-union and county commissioner appointed employees. Do I have a motion on the floor?
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner Cloutier and a second by Commissioner Caterina. County Manager, do you have anything to add?
Nope, just bringing this forward to make it official that we had budgeted in the FY27 budget 3% COLA for all non-union and county commissioner appointed employees. You're probably asking county commissioner appointed employees. That would be Teresa as treasurer, the register of deeds, and myself.
Excellent, thank you. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak to this matter? Okay. And I just have one question before we take a vote. It's been 3% for a while, is that right? Maybe how many years, can you remind me?
I think I've been here 9,
Right.
10 years.
Yep,
It's been
three.
like that every year.
3%, okay. Just, and that comes from IRS cost of living standards, correct? Kind of, do we? No, it doesn't come from that?
No, we typically fall around the 3%, and I might be mistaken. I think we might have been up at 3.5%, 4% one year, right around the pandemic time. But the majority of the time has been 3%, and it's, it's largely, we take a look at what other towns are doing.
Okay.
For COLA. Towns in our region are 2.5 to 4.
Okay.
And we kind of fall in the middle there. Most towns in our region are at 3%.
Okay, excellent, very good. Anything to add?
Move passes.
Second.
So a motion by Commissioner Cloutier and a second by Commissioner Tyler. You guys are going fast tonight, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
So that unanimous, thank you. Next item is 26-031, authorization of the issuance of the 2026-2027 cost of living adjustment of 3% to the elected officials and the sheriff's appointment.
Move passes.
I have a motion to pass by Commissioner Cloutier and a second by Commissioner Tyler.
She's thinking over there, she's slowing down.
Yeah, I
I'm
guess.
sorry.
Is there
I got
anyone,
distracted.
is there anyone from the public that would like to speak to this particular item? Seeing none, the public comment is closed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Show the motion unanimous. Thank you. Now we have item 26-032. It is the transfer of $1.5 million from the county's unassigned fund balance to the budget stabilization and uncompensated absences reserve accounts. May I have a motion for this?
So moved.
I have a
Second.
motion by Commissioner Caterina and a second by Commissioner Cloutier. County Manager, if you would, please.
Thank you. As part of the insertion of $500,000 into the FY27 budget, we created a schedule of step down over the next 4 years to wean the budget off from that $500,000 reliance. And so to do that, we already have some balance within the tax stabilization reserve. We need to bring in some additional funding, and we're asking to move that additional funding all at once, and not annually, but all at once, so it's in there, and we know it's in there, of $1 million that will cover the step-down schedule. Additionally, our uncompensated absences account, due to a number of retirements over the years, a lot of long-term employees that really tap the account when they leave. That is hovering at a low level, and we feel as though we need to capitalize that to strengthen it a little bit, and we'd ask for $500,000 coming out of unassigned fund balance to do just that. So I'd ask for a totality $1.5 million transfer out of unassigned fund balance to those two reserve accounts. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the explanation on that.
Okay.
Is anyone, it's already on the floor.
I'm sorry.
Anyone from the public like to speak to this matter? And seeing none, public comment is closed. The motion is on the floor. Yes, questions and comments?
Is there anything in the charter about what that fund can be used for?
Yes, and we're following not only it's not the charter, it is the unassigned fund balance policy that the commissioners approved back in November or December. And it is in accordance with state statute.
In terms of the amount?
No.
And,
The uses.
yeah.
Okay.
Did you have a further question, Steve?
No,
And-
if it's just the charter, that's all. If you change the charter, you
Excuse me?
if you change the charter, you have to go to the public.
Well, we're not changing the charter.
I thought the charter read that it was to be used for capital.
Well, there are a number of items.
Okay.
There are about 4 or 5 items that are eligible to be used. Capital being one of them. Tax stabilization being another one. Just so everyone knows, we are at, with this move, we have got ourselves down below the 20% maximum, and our fund balance now is 19.7.
What's the minimum?
16.7.
Yes, do you have a comment?
Yes, I just think it's a great idea to be shoring up the retirement funds, because that's the kind of often unrecognized liability that sneaks up on you if you're not paying attention to it. And it's been the undoing of a lot of public operations in the past. So the fact that you're stabilizing that seems to me to be a real smart, long-term financial move.
Excellent. Anyone else? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Show that unanimous. Thank you. And the last portion of our agenda this evening is titled Unfinished Business. That's item 26-016. Approve the jail medical service agreement between CFG Medical and Cumberland County for medical services provided at the jail. Could I have a motion for the floor?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Cloutier and a second by Commissioner Tyler. County Manager, if you would, please.
Thank you. You all know the story behind jail medical services and how we needed that quickly to have seamless transition from one company leaving to another one coming on. This contract is for the jail medical services. CFG Medical is the new contractor at the jail. They have been down there since February 1st. And all accounts, from what I'm hearing from the jail campus, everything's going great, and they're great to work with. However, they've been working without a contract for a month and a half, and so we felt as though it would probably be best to get it on before the commissioners, to get it in, signed up so that we can send it along. It was on last month's agenda. However, we were not happy with the indemnification language in the contract. Brianna and Paige, our corporation counsel, actually our legal help, worked with CFG and came to a amenable solution. And so we feel comfortable moving this forward for Commissioner's acceptance this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public that would like to speak to this matter? Seeing none, the public comment is closed. Comments from the commissioners, questions? I just want to say, I think, all contracts are hard, and I just want to appreciate how quickly our staff worked on this. Clearly, to have medical services and a pharmacy up and running at a jail where the needs are great are really important to the day-to-day lives of folks in the jail, and I really appreciate the level of professionalism and the timeliness and urgency that we took this on in terms of finding a strong provider in a very niche type of operation, and I feel comfortable with it, and I will be supporting it this evening. I want to thank the staff again for that work. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Show that unanimous passage of that item. Thank you. All right, everyone. So we're towards the tail end of our meeting this evening. We now have comments from the executive staff. I'll go around the table because it's the funnest thing to do. Alyssa, do you have anything to add or comments?
I just appreciate everybody. Working on this budget with them has been a pleasure, and from what I can hear, this was a great budget to jump in on, and it's been great even on Friday afternoons. So I'm already looking forward to auditing it and then doing the next one with them. So it's been great.
I love your enthusiasm. Thank you. Keeps us going. Thank you. Catherine, anything to add tonight?
I don't. Thanks for putting out those minutes. I'll make some edits and get back to them.
Great. Awesome. Thank you very much. And then on this side, Teresa, do you have anything for us?
We appreciate the RHR Smith coming in today. They spent extra time with us, really diving in deep on helping me make some templates to make the auditing process a little smoother, cleaner. It is really a year-round process that we're going through. It does start. They have different requirements that you heard, and they're putting them on us, which we're really embracing because it really is clean up a lot of the accounts. We're able to see that better and help me prepare as well for, as you heard, the 3 audits now. So that's really in depth. I've brought the departments along with us. I think public health, Sadie in particular, is one of the finance pieces in the public health department. She did amazing, and I think it was great teaching her the whys and hows so she can really keep the accounts clean and bring in along Same with Sandy, so it's really been a great collaborative effort that I think is paying off on these. And then just everything else that's happening within the finance department. But the audit budget bond has really been taking the bulk of our efforts lately, so.
Never slow anymore. You're always busy. We know that mantra already. Thank you. Thank you for the work. Brianna?
I don't have much to add. I just, thanks to everybody who's worked. I feel like I've gotten a lot of undue credit here. I'm really new to this process as well, so I really appreciate the structure that has been formed and the support from other departments as we go through the budget process. Just Jim printed out or brought down a bunch of the extra Cumberland County handouts, and they're behind you on the table here, so feel free to take them. They're also available in the office anytime.
They're being very well received out there in all the
Yes, they
communities, so
are.
thank you so much for that work. It helps to
Yeah.
shine a light.
Absolutely, and a lot of the departments their praises should be sung.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you. Jim?
Thank you. Got a few things this evening. First, hot off the press, we have our 2024-2025 annual report. I want to thank Catherine and Paige from the office. They tackled it in combination with one another and it came out great, of course. It will be posted up to the website and we can email it out to everyone also. So that has been completed. I feel as though we're checking the boxes. Annual report, audit, budget. Like Teresa said, we're lining ourselves up for a bond sale here pretty soon. The jail roof was one of those items that is in that bond. And one thing I'm happy to say is that our bond rating remained unchanged. Staff met with Moody's and Standard & Poor's in 2 different rating calls. In our AA plus Standard & Poor's rating held, and our AA2 Moody's rating held. So all good. I think it was one of those processes that typically Alex took over, and so it was a learning experience for the 3 of us, and we were able to pull it off, so it went well. We are initiating another leadership academy this year, teaming up with Southern Maine Community College. I have been trying to get town managers to nominate their rock stars on their staff. And we have upwards of, I believe, 25, 26 county and town, city participants going, starting next month to the Leadership Academy. It's a 7-week, 1 day a week class that goes from 8 to 4:30. And so those who have gone through the Leadership Academy speak very highly of it, and so we continue to offer it. And what's great over the last couple of years, and again this year, is that the Alfond Foundation is totally covering all expenses, and so that makes it easy for the county and the towns to be able to continue to participate in this program. And then lastly, just want to let you know that I have been invited up to Augusta on Wednesday afternoon to meet with, thank you, Commissioner, to meet with Senate and House leadership concerning jail funding. And so there's a small number of us that will be meeting with them Wednesday afternoon, and crossing our fingers from there. So.
Did you meet with Maddie Daughtry today? Did you Zoom?
No, because she was able to go on to Wednesday.
Oh, good,
So
okay.
Both of them will meet with us on Wednesday afternoon.
Excellent, thank you. Thank you for doing that.
No problem.
Thank you for all the updates. Commissioner Cloutier? Thoughts? Well, I shouldn't say that. Commissioner Cloutier, comment. We've done that before.
Yeah, first one wouldn't have been all that pretty, I don't think. I just feel like we've done a lot of work tonight. I mean, it was substantial agenda, and and switching various issues back and forth. That was a lot. And my compliments to the people who were lavish with great praise from our auditor, who I've run into in various situations, and very well respected operation that he has, and he had nothing but great things to say about both the outcome of our finances and the way that our finance people took care of it. And Teresa, it's hats off to you, and of course to all the people that work with you, that they feel that way. They don't feel that way about everybody. And the reports you get, sometimes you don't see them as clean as that by any means. I kind of feel bad for Catherine tonight, so I'll shut up. She's probably she's gonna have some cramps by the time she's done for the day, but and I have to say, I am very glad that spring has sprung. This has been a really bad winter, in my estimation.
Great, thank you. And Commissioner Catamino?
Just to thank all the staff and the county manager for all the work you've done on budgeting. I have never sat on a finance committee. I never want to sit on a finance committee because that would drive me crazy. You guys do excellent work. So thank you, for doing that. Just a couple things. I'm glad you brought up these flyers here. They are very well received. I brought them around to various Democratic and Republican caucuses on caucus day. And people were like, oh. And when they looked at it and read it, I've gotten lots of comments. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some to each of the towns that I represent. Some of you are lucky you don't have a million towns like I do. But I would just ask that if you get a chance, drop them off at the town offices or city offices, just so people can read them. Brianna, you did an excellent job with that. I just can't say enough good about it. I think people are waking up to what counties do, and part of it is because of the situation around the jail and with ICE. It kind of is like, oh, counties, what's county? Oh, jails, what are jails? So I think that we can jump on that and see what we can do. And Jim, I'm not totally optimistic about the jail funding, but I am somewhat optimistic about getting some more money, but we'll see. That's it.
Thank you very much. And Commissioner Gordon?
Oh. Well, everybody's passing out kudos, and I really want to say thank you for the budgeting, and add one more thing to it. We've got to remember that we just came off a transition from a calendar year to a fiscal year. That took a lot. To have this roll in, my hat's off to you. I don't know many people who could do that. Really, it's
See the grays?
Are you gonna blame them all on me?
You took the words. The other thing is that one of the strengths that I don't think that we appreciate and take advantage of is the planning that goes along with this group. And I can't encourage it enough as I've been out, and I know that my time is starting to fade here, which is probably a good thing. The planning is really respected, and I can't encourage us to, and especially the management, to look forward to that with the communities. To show them that the things that we can do for them, not in a demand way, but in an offer way, will serve them and really help pull us all together. The cost of things, if you talk to anybody out there in a community, is just astronomical. And it's because everybody has thought that they needed to do everything and have one of everything, each one of us, and could present it all the time. They're not taking advantage of, the bad word, which is consolidation. And we're the ideal group to do that, or the ideal government, more especially. There is movement afoot. You'll see it in some of the legislation that's being put out to create people or organizations to do that. And nobody's stopping and saying, wait a minute, have we got something that handles it already? And we've got to be aware of that, because this group here certainly shows and demonstrates what's going on in the future and is reaching out to do it. I can't encourage the manager more to continue his community meetings with the county managers and all the communities that get together. I can't. The thing that's going on with fire is having real repercussions, that people are beginning to talk about things that they never talked about before. And so, again, I encourage that. Look at the Leadership Academy you just mentioned. That starts to build up this realm of people that are available, just like when Alex left, we brought in a superstar. So, again, I can't encourage that more. There is one thing that I'm going to really miss, and I think it's coming up probably next year, or at least a year after, is a set down in a 5-year planning session. Mm-hmm. Because this next one's going to be just great. There's so much going on, and with what's coming out with the technologies of AI and so forth, wow, it's going to be exciting. So with that, my hat's off to the staff, and again, to this board. To me, this board is entrepreneurial, and I congratulate you for that. Thank you.
Commissioner Tyler?
Thank you. My comments are fairly short. I've obviously, and Jean Marie will probably agree with me, when you start this as a county commissioner, it's a new learning curve. I did 2 terms of legislature, she's done town council, and this government entity operates differently. I've been fortunate in my talking with my townspeople, Wyndham, all my towns. I've ragged this group up tremendously as to what we can do and what we do for the county. The auditors, the stuff we got going on, the Leadership Academy, and all the things Commissioner Gordon mentioned, my bragging has been well-founded. I keep telling them, we've got a group in there that knows what they're doing. They got this down pat, so when you sit down and intelligently talk about the budget, which we're getting beat on a little bit, but they don't push back very hard. I've had one meeting with the chairman, vice chair, and the Wyndham town manager. Jim and I are going to meet with again in late April, but that's just to explain things. We've met with Greg. I'm going to Harrison next week. It's pretty easy to explain when you know the numbers, and when the numbers have been handed to you, you can justify them. And so I'm looking forward to this year, and hopefully we can keep this ball rolling. And Steve is absolutely right. You know, and I said to the Wyndham people, 20 years ago, I was so much home rule, New England, let's not, we got our own little fiefdom.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, and I said it to the Wyndham town manager, the South has got it right. County government is where it's at. It's got to be, or we're going to lose dollars. It's going to so much more economy of scale. Yep, but congratulations to all departments in this building. This game is running pretty darn good, and I hope we can keep it going. Thank you.
Excellent. I won't go long and long on my comments, except to say I agree. My first term, which is coming to a close shortly here, has been a learning curve too. And as chair, I've found it to be super rewarding to be with all of you, despite even if we disagree from time to time. We still have things on our plate to accomplish. It's a very robust group. I love and appreciate all your dedication that you all show as commissioners in Augusta and to the towns, and taking the time to really care and communicate what we're trying to do here as a community government, as a county government. And so I appreciate that effort by all of you. And of course, it's really great and really fun to be part of an organization that is very good in planning, but also very good in executing. Because you can find these, pie in the sky dreamers out there, but they just can't seem to execute. We found that magic potion where we are able to make some great plans, look ahead, see where the danger lies and try our best to navigate around those tough spots, but also do it with a lot of commitment, still smiling. That's amazing. I know the week you had, and I just think, again, it just really hats off to creating a culture where it's a good place to work here at Cumberland County, and I can't say enough about the staff. And a long meeting tonight, but it just shows you the breadth and the depth of what we do and the work that still needs to be done here in the county. And again, hope everyone has a good evening. Thank you for a great, productive meeting tonight. Thank you. May I have a motion for adjournment?
You got it.
Okay, I need to be fighting for that. That's by Commissioner Tyler and a second by hand of Commissioner Gordon. All those in favor? Aye. And it's unanimous.